Hey everybody, so today I'm going to share with you my Bible journaling and my faith journal, and it's mostly this one that I want to show you because it's been what I've been sharing on Instagram, and I just want to kind of show you a bit of a flip through of it. Really, it's getting quite fat, but it's not finished, and I was thinking I'd wait till I was finished, but then I was just like, no, I'm going to show you because it'll probably take a while to show you what's in there anyway. But I want to start by just sharing with you how I got to the point of doing faith journaling instead of just journaling in my Bible. And I did start by getting this really beautiful Bible, put a bunch of tabs in it. I was really inspired by some really amazing people here on YouTube, on Instagram, and I made things like this. So taking specific verses from the text that really spoke to me as I was doing my Bible study, and then just creating some kind of art based on that. Something like this, just be strong and take courage, wait, and just highlighting some other verses there. I did this one, which was actually, I think, a Scribbling Grace tutorial on how to do this. Beautiful one. And then this one, which it is my desire that love may abound. And I just absolutely really enjoyed doing this. It was a fantastic way to start, and I keep adding to it, but just not as often. The reasons why I don't use this all the time are just because I find it a bit difficult just to keep myself limited to this much space. I mean, I know I can go over the whole page as I have done on some of them, but it just doesn't really allow for as much kind of creative freedom as I want. And so I was seeking alternative options. I know some people use traveler's notebooks, but I got myself a Leuchtturm, I think that's how you say it, 1917, and I just got a black one. It's really mucky on the front and the back. I need to do some kind of cover. I really just absolutely loved using this. I've created a blog post of like the process with how I do this, but I'll talk you through that now. So I have kind of gone in chronological order, but I have gone back and I've added bits to the front where I sort of didn't really start at the very beginning. And as I'm kind of learning how I want this to look and all the different things I can do, I'm adding things wherever I see them. So this is kind of where we don't technically start, so I'm going to kind of skip forwards. I'm just going to skip the first bit because it's just got some confidential information. So it starts off actually with a Thanksgiving prayer about my family, so I'm not going to show you that. So I've used this journal in so many different ways, and I'm really just enjoying playing with different techniques and just different mediums as well. So there's pens, there's watercolors, there's brushes, there's stickers, there's washi tape, there's just everything in here, and I kind of go about it a couple of different ways. So sometimes I start by starting in a Bible study. So for instance, now we're going through an Isaiah Bible study with church, and so I'm going through that, which you'll see later on. But here I would just be reading a verse that just happened to come to me, and then just doing a bit of Bible study on that. Sometimes it's to do with a song. Sometimes it's just one verse I cannot get out of my head, or a phrase, and that's what I write down and then kind of expand from there. Things like the images are usually kind of pretty things I've added on Pinterest, and then I print them out, and then I keep them all in a book, and then I kind of go from there. So if they kind of match the feeling I have in that day, then I will use them. You'll notice as well there's a lot of doodling. I'm really inspired by bullet journals, and although I am so not that organised and I don't do enough different things each day to really warrant a bullet journal, I really love the style of bullet journaling. So that's probably where I started. And then here's just a few different bits and bobs. So I've had this forever and ever. Actually, a friend of the family had made it, I think, just back in the day, and I just kept it forever, and so I decided to stick it in because I thought it was lovely. The peaceful heart finds beauty in all things. And then there's just a bit of kind of like watercolor and me experimenting. You'll notice my writing changed quite a lot from here, where it's really quite messy, to a point where I decided that I really actually want my writing to look as nice. And so I remember when I was a teenager changing how I did my writing, and so I kind of did that in here, and experimenting with kind of printing off fonts and things. This is kind of like my kind of memo to myself of how I want to express myself. It's really helpful. So it's just a prayer on the back of here, which I stuck in. And I then experimented and got into a lot of junk journaling, actually. So although this is by no means a junk journal, there's a couple of really amazing junk journalers I watch on YouTube. I'm really inspired by their style, so I got a few different like vintage backgrounds. And then some really amazing artists as well that I follow just to really inspire me to do different things, step out my comfort zone and kind of worship, but in a different way. And then I'm sticking in sort of different bits from things that I do in my actual life, just to kind of note the time and the day that I'm doing it. So this is when we went to the Claude Monet garden, and so I just stuck that in there. So this is when I was in France. I did quite a lot of journaling when we were in France. This is the fantastic verse from Corinthians: if I speak in the tongues of men and of angels but have not love, I am a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. It's just a reminder to myself. I love this book for flipping through when I'm having a really bad day. It's absolutely just jam-packed full of truth and just prayers and thanksgivings. Never be afraid to trust an unknown future to a known God. Corrie ten Boom is an absolute legend. I love her. So I've got various bits and bobs. There's like stamps and washi, things I've printed off, stickers that I've got from previous scrapbooking adventures, random stenciling, and then this is me writing out a really amazing song by Lauren Daigle, You Say, which is just such a beautiful song. This is kind of me note-taking from a preach that happened at church, which I kind of re-listened to on the podcast and then wrote some notes about. And then I made a little pocket here because I thought that was a cute idea. And love is still the most powerful force on the planet. It's true. There's just a picture of my son and my mum walking through fields in the summertime. I did a little embossing here. I've got a lot of different types of washi tape. I just get them really cheap on AliExpress. This is one of my favourite pages actually, and it's just this quote: be patient with yourself, nothing in nature blooms all year. And although that's not a biblical quote, it's just a really fantastic reminder that God made the world to be the way that it is. He's in control of the timing of everything. He's in control of the timing of the trees and the flowers and just the way that nature goes. And yeah, it's a really fantastic just quote there. Then I was listening to the Journey Women podcast with Carla Weathersby, was that particular podcast, and it was about marriage, and I just thought it was so fantastic, so I just sat and wrote some notes. I re-listened to a lot of podcasts and then just sort of take notes from them. Yeah, and just kind of carried over the theme of love and happiness. And then I did this acrylic work, which I actually really love. I just put this like baking paper between it because I didn't know if it would transfer from one side to the other. I don't think it would actually, but I don't have any like fixative spray or anything fancy like that. And I just wrote, to him who made the sun to rule over the day and the moon and stars to rule over the night, for his steadfast love endures forever, which is Psalm 136. I'm finding so much peace in being outside, being in nature, seeing the rhythm of things that God's created. I find it really helpful when I'm struggling to cope in a day or a season. Then sometimes I don't know what I want to do and I'm just having a bad day, or I need to like, I don't know, let off some creative energy, and I just kind of create a background and just take one of the phrases and I just work with that, and I just allow myself to not really kind of study it or meditate on it so much. But I do find, even if when I do something like this, that even just sticking it down and making a background and spending time doing that is enough to make me still be thinking about this verse for the rest of that day or the week. I just love this particular image. I just think is amazing, really, really beautiful. It's just a really powerful image. And then this is like my least favorite page, and I kind of don't really want to show you, but I did kind of like a watercolor of Salisbury Cathedral because I'd gone to visit it with my brother and my son, and I just found this kind of old dictionary page which says contemplate on it, and I kind of put the two together, but kind of was a bit of a strange mess, but I decided to leave it anyway. Then this is the beginning of the Isaiah study that we're still doing at church. Isaiah is a humongous book, so it's going to take us, I think, until Christmas to get through it all. So it's just me taking notes on the study that I've been doing, and then just kind of, I've collected here random things that kind of link to it. The God who created these flowers also created me. He deserves my all. They're just pictures that I've taken of flowers that I'd seen that summer, and I just thought they were really amazing. And that's just a pocket from the inside of an envelope. And then this is another example of having a bad day and still wanting to do some journaling, still wanting to spend some time in the Word, but not really knowing how. This is great. For though I fall, I will rise again. Though I sit in darkness, the Lord will be my light. And I do try and do journaling basically every day, actually, even if it's just for a short time. So I'm really in a good habit of doing it. I just love it. I really super miss it if I don't do it for a couple of days. Like, I have to take my journaling stuff with me on holiday because I can't go for that long without studying the Bible, which is really amazing to say and a really crazy place to be because I've not been in that place before. And this is just a card I actually got from IKEA, and I just did some painting around it because, I don't know, I wanted to remind myself and really meditate on these two things together. Though I fall, I will rise again. Though I sit in darkness, the Lord will be my light. He will take me onwards and upwards, and he'll be with me when I go back down again. And then this is just like me trying out doing a kind of monthly sort of starting page, just to kind of give me, I don't know, a place to do a bit of extra journaling, throw different items in there. So this is like the Romans Road, which actually I can't really remember where I got that, but there's some really amazing quotes from Romans in it. And give me understanding, your word is truth. Yeah, just a few random stickers. And this is Isaiah week 2, which is a really amazing week of study actually. And this is my favourite bit from, actually I think the whole of the Isaiah study so far is this verse, which is, quit scraping and fawning over mere humans, so full of themselves, so full of hot air. Can't you see there's nothing to them? And that's the Message translation of that verse, but I just think it's brilliant. Can't you see there's nothing to them? I just thought that was so powerful. And then this is like the end of the study, and then this is when we're on holiday in Devon, so I just kind of stuck that in. I think I intended to do more with that, and I guess it's just a space I could put more on there if I wanted to at some point. This is another really lovely quote. May you look at your life and see the beauty God placed there. Like little love notes, he's continually deposited pockets of grace, urging you to keep going. Please do not give up, don't turn back. The road might be long, but it is glorious in the end. And I think I definitely feel like that at the minute, and it was a really powerful thing to put in here. So anytime I feel like that, which is a lot, I can go and I can feel just really comforted by that. And this is another one of those fantastic podcasts by Journey Women, and it was the one about humility. And I must admit, to find humility something I don't think I naturally find difficult, but I'm in a season of my life in which I know I need to learn how to be even more humble in marriage, in friendship, in so many different ways. And it's something that I know is just something I need to work on. So I just absolutely love this page. I spent so much time listening to that podcast again and again and again. It even goes on to here. It's like quite intense. And then this is, if you follow me on Instagram, you might recognize this. This is the watercolors that I did of the waves. And I went finally to the seaside after a really long period of being very angry with it. And I actually went and I did a bit of journaling, which I won't show you, but I did a little bit of journaling and stuck in this envelope, which ironically is from Southern Water. This was our like water bill. And just put a few bits in the back as well. I sewed this on my machine. I basically, whenever I've got like 4 or 5 of these envelopes, I just turn them inside out and then sew them up so I can use them if and when I want to. So yeah, I wrote about how I felt that day that I went and I walked up to the water. It was a very emotional day. This is Isaiah week 3. There's definitely a theme in Isaiah as you read it of don't be like the world, because that's stupid. You should be imitating God. Just made a little pocket out of a map that we got on holiday. I did a lot of journaling on holiday. It was a really great time for me, spending time with God on holiday. There's a leaf that blew into our car when we were on this train, actually. And those are the tickets from the train. I just stuck those all in. Then this page is one of my favorites. So actually this was, I want to say last weekend, but it may have been last weekend. I saw my little boy and he was running down the corridor, well, he was walking down the corridor actually, and then he saw Daddy and he went, "Run, Daddy!" like to himself, to remind himself to run towards his daddy. And it just was the most beautiful picture of how we should be running towards Christ. And then of course Pete was standing there with his arms wide open, ready to give him a big cuddle as well, and it was just the most lovely picture. I just wanted to document that. This was me having a bit of a funny day again, and I just got one of the quotes I'd printed out from Pinterest. I really like this quote. She's beautiful not because she looks a certain way, but because she lives a certain way. She is sunshine in the rain and wisdom in the wilderness, not because of who she is, but because God is within her. I don't know, I think I felt beautiful on the outside when I was a kid and also beautiful on the inside, and then as I grow I kind of don't feel beautiful in either respect. So I don't know, I just need a reminder of where true beauty, real beauty I've put there, really lies. And then just to remind myself when I'm having a day where I don't feel beautiful in any way, all of the truths that God says about me from the Bible. And I've just sort of highlighted words: justified, set free, accepted, blessed, chosen, created, beloved. This is Isaiah week 4, which was like really a difficult week actually to document and to get through. Isaiah is really difficult at certain points. I wanted to put living lovingly in there. I had those two words and I just had found them and put them together because they really go together with he shall not judge by what his eyes see or decide disputes by what his ears hear. God really is the true judge, and we're to live lovingly knowing that he will be the ultimate judge in the end. And then this is like my most recent page, so I've done a like month spread again, so it's the October spread, and then it says I can't afford to wake up and not be closer to God than I was the day before. And I printed this off ages ago, and I really truly love and believe that. This has just got a bunch of pictures that I'd had for like the last month. I pulled out of magazines or printed off Pinterest again. I said, how is it October already? And then I've got this card which I'm ready to do some journaling on, but I haven't done it yet. Oh, it's got stuck there in the window. It's another window one, but then I painted over the window. Did some painting behind it, didn't like it, I just covered it up. And then this is me writing out another song lyrics. So this is Control by 10th Avenue North, and it's a really great song. And it just says, God, you don't need me, but somehow you want me. Oh, how you love me. Somehow that frees me to take my hands off my life and the way it should go. There you go, that is my faith journal. I hope that was really interesting to you guys, and if you'd like to see it, the next half or wherever it goes, please let me know in the comments below and let me know what your thoughts are. I will be doing a kind of like beginner's supplies blog post and probably a video as well of the things I take with me when I'm traveling, when I'm journaling, because I've got quite a few different journaling bits from my old scrapbooking days, but there's particular bits I like to take with me, so that's kind of like my short list, if you like, of favourite things. So I hope that was really interesting to you guys, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.